And Jack. All right, so good morning, everybody. Today is Noach Nunches. So, Jack, today's daf is Noach Nunches. Oh, you guys are now close it. All right.
Close to grab the door. No, the reason keeps the heat in. Keeps the riffraff out. Heat in.
All right, so it's like a family dinner.
Wow.
All right, so today's daf Nunches. We left off.
Like you mean like on Siddur and hotel?
Yeah. So he left off at Nun Zayin of Beis, 2 lines in the bottom. So we say Shomer Chinam Eino Nishba. So Shomer Chinam, guys watching for free. We said it's Hekdesh or Karka. There's other things that he doesn't swear. So Shomer Chinam Nishba. I've Ramin who as Ukash that says B'nei Yishkel who as Shiklei. So let's say the people of the town, they have to send their maxis a shekel. So they send it with the shliach. They live far away, so say, okay, let's just designate somebody over here. We're 4 hours travel, so let's just get someone here to take it for us. So b'nei v'nignevu it was stolen or lost. If the machzir shekel knows if the base of mikdash already separated the shkalim, right? We're not going to get too much into it, but basically everyone would donate their coins, and they would have a big collection. And from there, they would go ahead and pay for the daily offering, so everybody had a chelik in it. So if it was stolen after, in other words, the truma was taken, they separated then, and it was stolen then. So So then, in other words, then they were included in the machzis shekel, right? And therefore, the Mishkan is waiting for their money from the far out suburbs, right? So this guy, right, the shaliach, swears to the gizbarim, to the treasurer, that it was stolen or lost, right? So v'im lav, and if not, these b'nei b'nei year, and if not, they go ahead and they swear. Now, let's say they didn't take the truma yet, and therefore they have to go ahead and re-give it. They got to give it again because nothing was separated yet. Imam nishbayin leb'nei year. And therefore, basically, they had bad luck. They were stolen before it was ever taken, and therefore it doesn't count. They have to give again. And nimtzu but let's say they found the money, so they gave again, and all of a sudden they found the money. So now basically they paid twice. Or the thieves returned it. Both sets of coins have kedusha. And they don't have to go ahead and pay for next year because they get a credit for next year. Now, so what do you see over here, nevertheless? So our Mishnah said, they don't swear. And over here, this right, the Shemer Chinam does swear. Oh, he said
they don't get a credit to do this. They ain't only but it doesn't count for them for the next year.
I think the ain't only lahem, right? Oh, yeah, not right. Excuse me. Yeah. You're right.
Not could be either way.
It's right. It's fine because I said right. I when I originally read it, I said they they don't go to them for the next year, right? They don't go, yeah, but it doesn't count towards them l'shana haba, right? Yeah, and excuse me, yeah, very good. All right, thank you. So Amar Shmuel. So over here we see that the Ar Nishba, because they Nishba the Gizbar. So Amar Shmuel. We're talking about the messenger. He's actually a paid shaliach, right? He's he's a delivery guy, Grubhub or whatever it is. And he swears to get his payment. And it's not a theft, or he's pater from the gizbar, right? But rather, the only thing is he swears that it was stolen or lost, so therefore he has to be paid from the people to go ahead and do it to them because they order the the Uber delivery. But why say that he swore to the Gizbarim? It should be that he swore to the people because they're the ones who pay him. Right? No, they swear the townspeople in front of the Gizbarim that when it was stolen or lost, and therefore And there, and in order for it not to be what's it called? In order for for them not to have to pay for them. So right? In order that they should be chayshid, that they were the ones who did it, so therefore they swear in front of the gizbar. Or they won't call them negligent. It says over there that it was stolen or lost. Normally a person, now you're telling me he's a paid watchman, not a shomer chinam. So normally, by the shomer sachar, a person who's paid is chayiv for gneva veda. He's getting paid. He has a responsibility. You better uphold your responsibility and prevent loss or theft. Right? Okay, so over here, maybe they don't owe the money to the gizbar, right? But why should they get their fee? The whole fee is to go ahead and deliver the money. They didn't deliver the money, so why are they swearing to get their fee? They shouldn't get their fee. So Marabba. So what was the case over there? So it says Nignu Balistim Mazuyin Avdu Shitava Sunasa. In other words, no, it was an Ines, right? There was armed robbers, nothing you could have done about it, or the ship sank at sea, and therefore and therefore it was an Ines, and therefore that's the reason why they can still go ahead and get their wages. Rabbi Yochanan says, no, Hamani, who is this? This is Rabbi Shimon. This is the opinion of Rabbi Shimon, which we saw in our Mishnah, which we're actually going to discuss at the bottom of the Amud. This is the opinion of Rabbi Shimon, the Amar, who says, if it's kachim that a person is obligated, in other words, to go ahead and replace if something happens to it, there is price gouging, right? The fraud, the nishbai and also he makes a shvua on it. Right, so therefore, the I over here it says over there he has to make a shvur by the truma. We're talking the case because it's the sheet of Rabbi Shimon that holds that, and this is something shachai b'achar yisa. So the Gemara says, wait, hey tinach achla nisar hatruma. Okay, I understand this. In other words, according to you say it's Rabbi Shimon. In other words, before the truma was taken. So before the truma was taken, so therefore the people have to go ahead and replace it. However, mishnit charma hatruma. But if once the truma was taken, then kachim she'eno chai b'achriyos, and there's something that they're no longer responsible for because they already were teiremet. The Tanya. Right? The truma was something that was lost or collected, or something that was going to be collected. So why in this case, it should be kachin sheina chai b'achrayis. It's only takana. It's not the shvu we were referring to before. It's only takana. The person should not be mezalzel upon hektish. So therefore, we make sure to make this shvu derabban. And nice schar ain't a person's nice schar, a person who's paid to go ahead and watch kachim, he is eino mishalim. He does not have to go ahead and pay, let's say, for theft or if it's lost, as opposed to normal shomer sachar. He does have to go ahead and pay. But over here, if he's doing for the hektish, he doesn't have to go ahead and pay, even though if it was for hektish. So Rami le Rav Yosef bar Chama Rabba. So tonight we learn nice schar eino mishalim. Our Mishnah says the nicest person paid to watch the Shalom. I've Ramini as a kasha. So let's say a person is paid to go ahead and watch the Parah Duma. We got to make sure it doesn't do any avoda, nothing happens. Or Lishmar Satinok or child. They used to have young children, the young Kohanim being raised with Tahara in order that when they have, because remember, it's like a circular thing. Right? What does the paraduma do? It removes tumas mace, right? Most people have tumas mace. So how can you have somebody who's tahor, right? Prepare the paraduma if you need the paraduma to become tahor, right? So they would raise children from the age from birth, never to become tameh. Always make sure that any tuma was away from them. They wouldn't go under on the bridges and stuff like that, right? So he said lishmar satinok or lishmar sisraim or seeds, and they had to go ahead and watch. Let's say for the aimer. So one who goes and pays these workers, he rents a nice and l'skar Shabbos, right? They're not paid for Saturdays by the fichach, therefore Shabbos alav. So therefore, they're not. There's no achrayas in them. So, however, hayaskir Shabbos. Let's say he was paid for the week, or skir chodesh, paid for the month, or skir shana, or paid for the year. Then skir shavur for 7 years. Nice and l'skar Shabbos. Then he does get paid for Saturdays because it's all. He's not getting paid jafka, per day. Because if you get paid per day, you can't get paid for Saturday. you get per week or per month or whatever it is, then you can be paid, all, one fee. Lefichach, therefore, Achrayus is Shabbos Alav. So therefore, they are responsible because they're sort of, their wages are included for Saturdays. So my love l'shalit doesn't mean they're responsible, meaning to pay. So you see that even though someone's a Shem Yisachar, they do have to go ahead and pay for Gneva V'Aveda. So Gemara answers no. No, it means that if they go ahead and lose it, they don't have to pay, but they lose their wages for that day. So that's the case. There is no achrayus. He's not responsible for Saturdays. Right? What? Meaning that he doesn't, he loses wages for his Saturday day pay. Right? Does he get paid for Schar Shabbos? He doesn't get paid for Schar Shabbos. Ishtik, he was quiet. It's a good question. Have you heard anything of this? In other words, he acquired him. They made a special kinyan in this case in order for him to be responsible. Then he's responsible to go ahead and pay for Gneva Aveda. But otherwise, if he didn't make a kinyan to be responsible for Gneva Aveda, then the standard Shomer Sachar for something which is for hektish is pater from Gneva Aveda. And Rabbi Shimon says, Kachim Shechai Brachiyah. Some kachim that if he was, let's say, lost or stolen, whatever it was, and he has to go ahead and replace it, then yesh no. Then there is no, it does apply. But if he's not responsible, he just says, let's say this animal is going to be an ola, and something happens to the animal, so then he doesn't have to replace the animal. No, then there is no in that case. So Tani Kama the Rabbi Yitzchak Barabba, so he says kachim shechai b'achriyson. So kachim that one has to go ahead and replace. Chayiv, one is chayiv, right? One is chayiv in such a case to go ahead and bring an asham, all right, an asham gazela shani kari, because the pasuk says ba'ashem v'kichesh, right? If you look at the pasuk, nefesh ki, I'm looking at the pasuk on the side. So nefesh ki sechne umala mal ba'ashem, right? Person who goes ahead and he does commits meila ba'ashem v'kichesh v'amiso. Right, and he falsely, denies to his fellow to his fellow person, but because right, any of these cases, in other words, he's mo b'Hashem, and then he basically swears, right, ba'amiso, right, to his fellow man. So it sounds like both of them. So what do you mean both to Hashem? And I was, what case does one falsely deny owing money, then admits it, then he has to go ahead and pay and bring this Asham Gezela? So what's the case? The Shani Kore, so it's if it's a case of Kachim Shechai B'Achriyasa and Chai Shani Kore B'Hed B'Hashem V'Kichesh, it says to Hashem he falsely denied. And V'Sheinu Chai B'Achriyasa, but if he's not Chai B'Achriyas, then he's part of bringing the Gezela. Why Shani Kore B'Hed B'Misa V'Kichesh? Then I read over there that to his fellow person, and he denied. Shamalei Klapayaya. I don't understand. It should be the other way. In other words, that the logic would be that if it was something that he's chai b'achrayis, it's more his. So therefore, since it's achrayis, it's more his. So then, therefore, he should be responsible in that case, as opposed to saying which is Hashem, he shouldn't be responsible. So it should be the opposite. So Amalei Ismaya, should I go ahead and delete it? So and erase it, right? Not teach us. This is what it means to say kachim shechai b'achrayis. If it's kachim, they have to go ahead and replace the chayiv, the srabu b'Hashem Kichesh. Right over there, then it's included in Hashem Kichesh. In other words, even in a case of his chayiv b'achrayis, he has to go ahead and replace it. Then he has. That's a case of Hashem Kichesh because he owes Hashem, and therefore he didn't do. He has to replace it. And therefore, such a case you'd have to bring the Hashem Gezela. But if he's not Chai B'Achrayis, then he's pater the Imayid B'Misa B'Kichesh, because it says to his fellow man, and it's not his anymore because he's not responsible. It's not owned by man because he's not Chai B'Achrayis, and therefore he'd be pater from an Hashem Gezela. Rabbi Yehuda Omer Av Hamaycher Sefer Torah. Or margalis or a pearl or behema, there is no fraud in that case. So Tani going to write why? The fish in case of the man, because there is no set amount to its price, right? Behema or margalis, an animal or a pearl, in other words, a person needs a pair. He has a male cow, he wants to buy a female. Right, he'll pay whatever he wants, or he has one pearl. He want to get a matching pearl. He'll pay whatever it is, even overpay. So therefore, if you overpay, the buyer still wants it. Summer lavala, I call Adam. Right, so there's what any item is like that. You want two of them. So Yehuda hani chashivile When it comes to these three, jewelry, right, animals, I guess, for a set of animals, or Sefer Torah, those are chashuv. Other things, a person wouldn't necessarily pay more.
You give offer. This is specifically the marvelous and the shame because it wants to hear. Does that say that?
Well, he writes on the zavgon, right, to make a zivug, right? So he wants to. So therefore, if I'm missing one, right?
So why weren't these things included in the mission?
No, so they were. That was Rabbi Yehuda said. Rabbi Yehuda said in the Mishnah that the end of the Mishnah, right? These, if you find the
In
Mishnah,
other words, you give offer because you want that. You give offer.
right? I think it was the previous. I think it was the previous Amud Beis.
It's like house.
The previous Amud Beis, Eddie.
You think
Is it-
it's time now, no accused to be able.
Yeah.
Eddie, did you find the Mishnah?
No, it's like a household. It's not.
Eddie, Nun Vav Amud Beis on the top. Nun Vav Amud Beis on top. That's where the Mishnah is. So over there is no. And so Rabbi Yehuda says no. These are chashid. The other ones people don't. Viad kama, and how much? Amar Meimar ad kadei demam. In other words, the set amount. In other words, double. The pay up to double, more than double. Then you got to claim. And Tan Rabbi Yehuda say Raimer. Afa meicher sus v'sai v'chitutam b'milchama. So too one who goes ahead and sells a horse, which is used for war, or sword or armory during a war, because a person will pay anything during a war to have something, to protect them. Fine. Next Mishnah, now it's a fun Mishnah. Just like there's no when it comes to fraud, when it comes to business. So too, there's no by one's words. So right? So you shouldn't say, oh, how much does this cost when the person has zero intention of going ahead and making the purchase? And a person's about shuva. Remember what you used to do, right? And who ben ger, if he's a son of converts, yeah. Oh yeah. Okay, big talker. Let's talk about what your ancestors did. Right? Says over there by a convert, you should not go ahead and upset him or cause him anguish, and that would be doing by mentioning his ma'aseh because his ancestors were idol worshippers.
We're not talking gouging anymore. We're talking about.
Okay, so now that was onas mamon, and now we're talking about onas dvarim, right? Which is we're gonna get to mamon chaber rabbi also today. So Tan Rabbanim says lo yisayna ish esamisa. Person should not go ahead and fraud his fellow man. So onas dvarim hakasav daber. Is it talking about? How's it touch on us devarim? Wronging with words. Okay, so wrong is it's not about his devarim because of davar. So ato everybody devarim is talking about wronging with words. Or in elabit as mammon, or maybe it's talking about defrauding with money, like we've been discussed till now. Sure, no, we have another pasuk when the pasuk says v'chsim kiru man kalamisecha economy lamisecha. When you sell something to your fellow man, or you buy something so you sell your man, and it says don't defraud him. That's referring to monetary. So what's this pasuk talking about? Right? When it's referring to wronging one with one's words. Okay, it said how so? And I'll give several examples. Remember what you used to do at the discotheque. Like using that word, just ages me. The discotheque. Yeah. So Ben Gerim, if he was a son of converts, if he's son of converts, don't remind him of what his forefathers who were idol worshippers or something like that. If he was a convert, he came to learn Torah. Right? Well, the mouth, they used to go ahead and eat all these other things. Now it's coming to learn Torah. Right? Torah, which is which was sent, taught by Hashem. Let's say a person had sufferings upon him, or diseases, or their pains by Allah. Shaya Mekaver his banav, or he buried his sons. Do not talk to him like Eov's colleagues said to him, or his friends, right? Great friends. Zachor, all right, I'm just happy Ozzy wasn't here. Right, so he said over here that when they remind basically that Hashem doesn't punish for nothing; He doesn't punish the innocent, right? So whatever Yisurim happened to you is for a reason, right? So one should not say that if someone is suffering, right? Or Zachor na miha yunaki avan. Right? Recall, there's, Hashem doesn't go ahead, and someone who's completely clean, he does not lose, get punished. Let's say, drivers, donkey drivers, we're looking to go ahead and travel and pick up some business. Go to so shoemaker, he's a seller, he might need your services. And he knows he's never sold it, and will never use this guy's services. Don't mislead him. And Rabbi Yehuda don't even look at the item. When you don't have money in your pocket. This is something that was really placed in the heart. And it says over there that these matters in the heart, you shall fear Hashem. In other words, Hashem knows what you're thinking, what your intentions are. So therefore, even your intentions, one has to be careful about and to not mislead. And now Rabbi Yechon, right? Worse is the wronging one with words than wronging one with money. One says you should fear Hashem, and by money doesn't say fear Hashem. By onas diburim does say fear Hashem. One is only with one's money. This one is with his body. And right? You could always return money. The other one cannot. He hurt his feelings. He cannot go ahead and return those feelings. And Tani Tani coming to Rabbi Yitzchak. One who goes and embarrasses his friends in public, is like he's spilling blood. It's like murdering us. Right? No, that's very, very true. Right? The chazina lay does I've seen people that their red has gone out of their face. They turn white from embarrassment. And I'm really by Rav Dimi, B'Marva and Eretz Yisrael. B'Mai is he really careful with. So I'm really they're very careful not to go ahead and embarrass others. Everyone goes down to Gehenna, except for three. Everyone goes down to Gehenna. Whoever goes down to Gehenna for a brief period of time, then they come up. Except for three who go down and do not come back. One who has relations with a married woman, one who goes ahead and embarrasses someone in public, and one who goes out and calls his friend by a bad nickname. So the Gemara says, "Machana Hainam Balad," wasn't calling by a bad name isn't basically the same as embarrassing. So even though that people call that name commonly, one should still not use it. It's still wrong. And Rabbi Yechanan, we'll just go a little ahead because it looks like the next two Sunday will be a little longer, even though it seems like a little flow. It's better for a person to go ahead and to have relations with a woman who might be a married woman, as opposed to embarrassing someone in public. How could that be? May the Darish Rambam.
You give excuse.
That's it.
This way you give excuse. Go after a married woman.
No, it's something. So let's see. Let's see. That's the Darish Rambam. This is good. So Ma'idach, what does it mean? What says over there, right? When he limped, David HaMelech said when he was limping around, that his enemies, they were happy and they tore him. So Amar David Lifnei Kodesh Baruch Hu, Ribono Shel Olam, Hashem. Galu b'yadu lefanach Shim hayam ekanim b'sari. They would go ahead and tear my flesh. Lo haya dami sheises laretz. My blood would not go on the ground because it was already drained. What do you mean? Even times when he was teaching the complicated sugyas of Tuma and the Goyim and Saras and the David Haba, so they used to go ahead and say, they said to David Haba al Eish Ish, he says Bama. Right, they were referencing there was a Ma'aseh David with Bathsheba that he was accused of being with Eish Ish. Really, it wasn't. She was really divorced, but they accused him of being with a married woman. So they said he's no teaching. Student raised his hand, assuming that he's going to ask about something with the sugya, and he says, "Oh, Rabbi, what is the punishment for sleeping with a married woman?" All right, everyone laughs, because they're referring to David HaMelech. But I said, "Oh." Death penalty is chebek. However, but such a person has a chelik olam haba as Pnei Chaver B'Rabim, Ein Lo Chayil Olam. So he doesn't. He has a Chayil Olam, but one who bears someone public, i.e., a hint to your question. So you see over there that it's better to be with an HC than One more quick case. One more quick case. One more quick case. Yiga. One more quick case. One more quick case. And Marzucha Bar Tubi Amar Rav, and some say Rav Chana Bar Bizna and Rav Shimon Chasida. Rav some says Amar Rav Yechon Rav Shimon Bechai. Noachlo Liyadam Shiapi Hazel the Kivshanesh. Better for a person to go ahead and jump in a fiery furnace. The album Pnei Chaver Rav not to bear someone in public. Manolan from where? Tamar the Chsiv. He might say Vishach as come here. No, she as opposed to giving up Yehuda's name, she was willing to hide the name of Yehuda to protect it from becoming embarrassed, and she was going to get killed. So you see, it's better to be killed than to embarrass somebody else. We'll stop here. Everyone have a wonderful Shabbos.